Judo is not just an amazing martial art, it is also an Olympic sport. We are going to dig into the history, the widespread appeal, and the excitement that is Judo on today's episode of 5 Weird Things. Welcome to the channel. I took Judo for about a years ago, and then I hurt my shoulder and I had to stop. Now by the time it healed, I was on to other stuff, but I have always regretted not going back. There's just an elegance and a basic excitement to Judo once you learn the basics and you can spar, what they call randuri. Now what about you? Any Judo stories? Let me know down in the comments. All right, let's get into it. First, the things we all need to know. Judo is a Japanese martial art and Olympic sport that focuses on throws, joint locks, and pins rather than strikes. Founded in 1882 by Jigoro Kano, it was developed as a more structured and less dangerous form of traditional Jiu-Jitsu. Judo's core philosophy is maximum efficiency, minimum effort, meaning that a smaller person can overcome a larger opponent using leverage, balance, and technique rather than brute strength. Practitioners, called judoka, train to execute powerful throws, which are called nagewaza, to take opponents to the ground, followed by grappling techniques called niwaza to control them. Judo has also influenced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, proving its effectiveness beyond competition. Whether practiced for self-defense, sport, or just discipline, Judo remains a global martial art that blends physical skill with mental strategy. Everybody got that? Good. Weird thing number 5. Judo celebrities. Judo has produced numerous well-known athletes, from Olympic champions to MMA fighters and even political figures. These judoka have helped popularize the sport worldwide. Now, one of the most influential figures in Judo history is, of course, Jigoro Kano, the founder of Judo. In addition to creating the martial art in 1882, he was the first Asian member of the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, and he played a key role in getting Judo into the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. Japan's Yasuhiro Yamashita is widely regarded as one of the greatest judoka of all time. He won 203 consecutive matches and earned an Olympic gold in 1984. His dominance in heavyweight judo made him a national hero in Japan. Now in the modern era, Teddy Raynier from France is one of the most successful judoka, winning 10 world championships and multiple Olympic gold medals, 2012, 16, 20, and 2 more in 2024. The man is 6'8" and 311 pounds, and his size and skill have made him nearly unstoppable as a force in the sport. Now, I've seen him compete, not live in video, and the man is actually nimble at that size. Ronda Rousey won an Olympic bronze medal in judo at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, becoming the first American woman to medal in the sport. She later transitioned to MMA, dominating as the first UFC women's bantamweight champion before moving on to pro wrestling with WWE, where she remains a major star. Kayla Harrison is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo in 2012, 2016, making history as the first American to achieve this feat. After dominating judo, she transitioned to MMA, competing in the Professional Fighters League, the PFL, and later the UFC, where she continues to dominate and showcase her elite grappling skills. These judoka have left a lasting impact on the sport, inspiring future generations of athletes worldwide. Weird thing number 4. The Olympics. Judo made its Olympic debut at the 1964 Tokyo Games, marking the first time a martial art from Asia was included in the competition. The sport was founded by Jigoro Kano in 1882, as I mentioned, and its inclusion in the Olympics was a significant milestone in its global recognition. Now, the 1964 Games featured 4 men's weight categories, and as expected, Japan dominated, winning 3 of the 4 gold medals. However, in a very surprising move, Dutch judoka Anton Geesink defeated Japan's Akio Kaminaga in the open weight category, proving that judo was not solely Japan's domain. After its debut, judo was removed from the 1968 Olympics, but returned permanently in 1972 at the Munich Olympics. Over the years, the sport expanded, introducing more weight classes and increasing international participation. a major milestone came in 1992 when women's judo was officially added to the Olympic program in Barcelona. This followed its demonstration sport status in 1988. The introduction of female judoka brought greater diversity and global reach to the sport, with competitors from countries like France, Cuba, and China emerging as dominant forces. Since then, judo has continued to grow, with athletes from around the world challenging Japan's traditional dominance. Countries such as France, South Korea, Russia, and Brazil have produced Olympic champions, showcasing the sport's evolution beyond its origins. Currently, judo is number 2 in sports participation around the world, behind soccer. Today, judo remains a key part of the Summer Olympics, maintaining its philosophy of maximum efficiency and mutual respect while providing exciting matches that emphasize technique, strategy, and skill. With every Olympic cycle, the sport continues to attract new athletes and audiences, cementing its place as one of the most respected combat sports in the world. Weird thing number 3. Judo invented black belts. Jigoro Kano, the founder of Judo, revolutionized martial arts training by introducing the colored belt ranking system in the late 19th century. Before Kano's invention, most traditional martial arts had no clear way to indicate a student's progress. Practitioners were either beginners or considered skilled, with no visual representation of their expertise. You want to know how good someone is? You either have to spar with them or ask them. Now in 1883, Kano first introduced the black belt, which is called the Dan rank, to distinguish advanced students from beginners. This concept was inspired by the ranking systems used in Japanese board games like Go. Students who had reached a high level of technical proficiency were awarded black belts, while beginners continued to wear their white belts. Later, Kano students and other judo schools began using colored belts to mark different kyu, student levels, making it easier to track progress. The idea spread beyond Japan, and by the early 20th century, Western judo schools had fully adopted a multicolored belt system. Other martial arts, including karate, taekwondo, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, later adopted the colored belt system as well, though each developed its own ranking structure. Today, the colored belt system is one of the most widely recognized aspects of martial arts training, providing students with a clear sense of progression and achievement. Kano's introduction of the belt system was not just about hierarchy, it was designed to motivate students by giving them tangible goals. His structured approach to training helped judo gain international recognition and played a key role in its inclusion in the 1964 Olympics. Thanks to Kano's innovation, martial arts around the world can proudly showcase their skill level with belts, rather than just relying on bruises and years of experience to prove their abilities. Weird thing number 2. Judo for self-defense. Judo is well known for its highly effective throws, many of which are useful for self-defense. Here are 5 of the best judo throws that can be applied in a real-world situation. Osotogari, a major outer reap. One of the most fundamental and effective judo throws, Osotogari, involves sweeping your opponent's leg while using your upper body to push them backwards. It's especially useful against larger attackers as it relies on timing and leverage rather than strength. A well-executed Osotogari can send an opponent crashing to the ground hard in seconds. Number 2, Ogoshi, a major hip throw. It's a classic hip throw, one of the fastest ways to put an attacker on the ground. By turning your body, getting your hips under theirs, and using leverage to lift and throw them over your shoulder, you can neutralize a threat very quickly. It's effective against opponents who grab you from the front. Number 3, Ippon Seonagi, which is a one-arm shoulder throw. Popular in both judo and self-defense, Ippon Seonagi is a powerful throw that involves pulling an opponent onto your back and flipping them forward. It works well when someone tries to grab or strike you. Proper execution can send them onto their back, leaving them disoriented or injured. Number 4, Haragoshi, a sweeping hip throw. A variation of the hip throw, Haragoshi adds a leg sweep for extra force. This technique is useful if an attacker is resisting a standard hip throw, as the sweeping motion takes away their balance, ensuring that they go down. Number 5, Taitoshi. A quick, powerful throw. Taitoshi involves pulling an opponent forward while blocking their leg, causing them to fall hard onto the ground. It works well against aggressive opponents and is effective in redirecting an attacker's momentum against them. These judo throws emphasize control, leverage, and efficiency, making them ideal for real-life self-defense situations. And finally, weird thing number 1. Judo heavily influenced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as a martial art and MMA as a sport. Judo played a crucial role in the development of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and modern MMA, and without it, these combat sports might not exist in their current form. The connection dates back to the early 20th century when Mitsuyo Maeda, a Japanese judoka and student of Jigoro Kano, traveled the world demonstrating judo. Back then, judo was known as Kano Jiu-Jitsu, prior to being recognized as a separate martial art. In 1914, Maeda arrived in Brazil and began teaching his grappling techniques to local students, including Carlos Gracie. The Gracie family adapted and refined these techniques, focusing on ground fighting and submissions rather than throws, eventually developing what became Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, while judo emphasizes throws and control, BJJ shifted focus to ground techniques such as joint locks and chokes, making it more effective for prolonged grappling situations. Despite these differences, BJJ still remains many core elements of judo, including its belt ranking system and the concept of using leverage over brute strength. Judo's influence extends beyond BJJ into modern mixed martial arts. Many top fighters such as Ronda Rousey, Kayla Harrison, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Fedor Emelianenko have backgrounds in judo and use its techniques effectively inside the cage. Throws like harigoshi, the sweeping hip throw, uchimata, inner thigh throw, are seen frequently in MMA, proving that judo's principles translate well into real-world combat. Today, judo, BJJ, and MMA continue to influence each other. Many MMA fighters train in both judo and BJJ, combining judo's explosive takedowns with BJJ's ground control submissions. This blending of martial arts highlights judo's lasting impact on the evolution of combat sports. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you liked it and got something out of it. I know I did. Do me a solid, watch more of my videos. I would appreciate it. Take care, have a great day.